All right.
Hello, everyone. We have today our fantastic guest, Philippe Lewis, and we met at many different locations. And now we're finally presenting his beautiful little creation baby, Journey to Secure. And as a public speaker, international facilitator, I've been always wondering, like, what is this secure? And how is that important in our relating? So, Philippe, tell us a little bit more about you and how this work is important for our relationships.
Beautiful. Yeah, as you already said, my name is Philippe Lewis. I've been working with attachment theory for many years, and in a way, it's a model of behavior, and we all have an attachment style, and this attachment style has us behave in certain ways, especially when we're pushed to the edge of our comfort zone. And so secure is basically representing a sort of a certain sense of groundedness. But then there's a number of attachment styles that are insecure, and then we'll go into those in a moment. So digging into this topic of attachment theory was something that allowed me to go deeper and get closer to my partner, because at the time we were facing these attachment coping mechanisms that had us disconnect from each other, but at the same time trying to validate our own particular needs, and we would try to validate needs that were incompatible with each other. And so we would find disconnection, and we tried to understand, why is this happening? Why do you need closeness when I need freedom? And then we would realize like, we don't know what's happening, but it's still happening, and it's clear the timing is perfect, impeccable timing of disconnection. And so eventually discovered attachment theory through my friend Trevor, who then said, you might want to read this book called Attached. And I read the book, and suddenly all the puzzle pieces started to fall into place. And so fast forward a few years, having created the attachment community Facebook group with about 10,000 people, where everybody's talking to each other and trying to understand these coping mechanisms, eventually I realized, like, we need a way for people to come together and learn together, not just learn through conversation. This is what's happening for me, this is what's happening for me, but learn the skills, like beyond the awareness of what being secure might look like, or trying to get out of the insecure coping mechanisms by understanding them and recognizing them. Like, what are the steps that we can take to become more secure? What are the skills beyond the awareness of secure? And this is how Journey to Secure was born.
Yeah, so it's very important actually for everyone who gets into relationships to understand, first of all, their attachment style, because attachment style is something that we created since our childhood, like how our primary parent was relating to us. And that, guys, is actually programmed in us inside. So as Philippe described, in any little conflict, in any little interaction that we're out of our comfort zone, this attachment style crawls up and takes you over. And sometimes we're not aware of it, right? And actually, Philippe, what is your technology, how you bring people aware of their attachment styles?
Well, I think the discovery of our attachment styles follows a fairly straightforward path. At first, we're not aware of our coping mechanisms, so we just behave the way we do. We're blind. We do the things we do. We often put the fault on other people.
We push other
their problems,
buttons,
their fault. Right? And we call that stage one of the journey to secure. And stage one is unaware and insecure. And so we just don't know. And then stage two is we become aware of our coping mechanisms. That's usually the first stage beyond the lack of awareness. And we call that stage.
So what do you do then if you're aware, okay, oh, I got this button that someone else is pushing on me and I'm screwed to the wall, right? Yeah. What is the next step? How
the next step is, once you recognize these coping mechanisms, you go into, well, what can I do about it? And that's the stage three, which is to become aware and also secure. And in that awareness, there's a development of skills. There's these, what can I do about this? And then you sort of start to catch yourself faster and faster, and you start to recognize, oh, this works a little bit better. If I can calm myself or ground myself, this is going to help. If I take care of myself, this is gonna help. Or if I make sense of the situation a little bit better, then I'm not gonna go down the same path again. I'll pick a different path. So there's a development of regulation, self-regulation, as I call it, which could look like co-regulation, to be closer to someone and kind of lean on them. Could be a friend, not necessarily a partner. There's also the development of self-care. So you can see ahead of time that you're going to need to be a little bit more grounded. So you sleep better, you eat better, or the term hangry. When people get hangry, that's because they haven't had food and they're more easily dysregulated as a result. Well, you learn to not do that. You learn to eat well, sleep well, drink well, exercise well, and do all the things that will make your body more grounded.
Right. That sounds fantastic.
The third piece is doing a lot of reading and a lot of understanding of what's going on. So you recognize the different pathways of behavior. And every once in a while, you can catch yourself. You can say, oh, I'm just about to go down the path of criticizing my partner. I'm going to take the path of saying, what's happening right now? Like, this doesn't make sense to me. Or I'm feeling a little off right now, and I want to share what's going on for me if you have time to hear me. So better choices for yourself and for the other person in relationship.
Right. It's so important. Before you said our magical word, the securely attached. And I had a lot of female friends. I had a lot of my own clients in my yoga coaching studio back in Vienna. And those women, they've always been telling like, hey, I cannot actually create a relationship. I feel so overwhelmed. I feel so scared that this guy gonna leave, and I just jump on him. I do not allow him to go on the private events without me, and I'm like running after him everywhere. And I somehow feel that this man afterwards is actually not really interested in me, and he describes me as clingy or needy. And I sit there and I crawl under the blanket and I feel overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. How can I bring this man back to my life so that we can create this beautiful relationship that I wish so much for me?
I'm gonna say a couple of things that will relate to what you just said. So first of all, what you're describing is classic anxious behavior. And I say anxious not because there's anything wrong with it. It's just a way of labeling it. So you can say, oh, it's that kind of behavior. It's that kind of reaction. It's these kinds of feelings. And what you're describing the way you're describing the man sounds more like avoidant. And again, that could sound bad if you just take the word as it is, but it also describes.
Hey guys, and there's a good news here. There's a great news here.
Yeah.
The great news is whichever on the attachment style test you find out, you can work on it. You can, through Philippe's amazing work, you can go, you figure out, and you get your tools in order to change your attachment style to come from anxious, avoidant, or disorganized into safely, peacefully secured for everyone. And then the life for everyone becomes better and easier.
I mean, that question comes up so often. People say to me, oh, Philippe, like, I'm in this relationship and it's difficult. I have these feelings that are coming up. I have these reactions that are coming up. My partner is having these reactions, and this is exactly what was going on for me in my relationship.
And I don't know what to do with this.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do with this man, right?
And the simple answer is this: becoming more secure. That's the solution. That's the simplest, easiest, most powerful solution. And becoming secure is a lot of tiny little steps. There's no quick solution. There's no panacea. There's no like, I drink this potion.
Any transformation, my friend, and any transformation takes time and work and commitment, right?
But to learn the skills will immediately, like even just the skill of regulation. If you take just one class on how to regulate, just one class on making sense of your coping mechanisms, will be enough to shift things by 10 or 20%. And then you go, wow, things have changed seemingly radically from just one step to the next. And that's usually what happens at the beginning. There's just so much to recognize, and there's so much to understand, and there's these very, very simple skills that can be learned, that you'll get a sense that you're taking large strides moving forward, and your relationship would completely transform even after just a few classes. And what we're teaching you in the Journey to Secure online immersion is all of the different classes that will take you on these large strides. So we're going to be teaching you about self-regulation, about self-care, and about making sense making and self-resourcing that will just allow you to understand how to be a better partner and be able to ground in that partnership and become more secure in just a few classes.
Right. It sounds so fantastic. I think like actually every person needs to go and get those classes, so like, you know, we all can co-regulate each other so much better. So you said
I wish I would have learned that years ago.
Right, like from the childhood on, right? But we're changing the world one at a time. So you said becoming secure. How actually in our dating scene, how do we recognize a person who is secure? Because I had so many women coming and doing the ideal partner exercise, and I'm like, hey, it's not gonna work if you are not ready to receive that partner, if you're not ready to maintain a healthy, safe relationship. So how do we recognize also the safe, regulated person? How can we actually date a guy that is available to provide for us a long-lasting relationship?
Here's the fastest trick. Do you feel safe and grounded with this person? And for a lot of people, what they're looking for is excitement. They're looking for what they call chemistry. And really the reality is, if you meet somebody who's secure, your nervous system will ground. You'll immediately and automatically, your nervous system, even just being with them, you'll go, okay, I can just relax. I'm not scared. I'm not afraid. Because the difference between excitement and fear is, in the nervous system, it's the same thing. So when people feel excited, that's because at some level there's also fear, and the difference is just the interpretation. In their nervous system, they might be what might be happening is they're recognizing the insecurity in the other person, or they're recognizing their inner sense of lack of safety. And it's not because this person is unsafe, but there's something about them that's causing a pull or a push. And that's what they're recognizing in the excitement. And that's the difference between meeting somebody who's insecure and meeting somebody who's secure. Now, if you're insecure as a person and you recognize and you see somebody who's secure, one of the immediate recognition will also be not just that your nervous system is grounding, but also that this person might feel boring. The more insecure you are, the more boring this person will feel. And that's the biggest difficulty for insecure people to get together with secure people, is this person will feel boring. This person will feel like there's nothing happening. There's no excitement, but there's also no fear.
Right. So in which of these workshops would we learn like how to deal with that situation? Absolutely.
Yeah, you'll learn to recognize that the boredom is not actually boredom. Boredom is just an interpretation. And there's something deeper than that. And that is your nervous system being at ease, and your nervous system feeling like you can lean into this person.
Oh my God, I think we can geek out on the nervous system for so long. Tell us about the 2 roads of secure, and what does it mean, and how do they look like?
Well, there's really, I mean, I've been speaking to that. One road is the road of awareness. So the more aware you become, the more you can see things coming from far away, including your own running out of emotional resources, your own dysregulation. Your own buttons. You'll recognize when somebody's pressing your buttons. You'll recognize that your buttons might be more easily pressed. You might get tired. You just recognize how your nervous system works, but you're able to forecast it eventually. In the past, right now, you might be like, well, 2 months ago, I did this thing, and oh, that was an insecure move. And the more you do this work, the more you recognize it in the present. And the more you do this work, the more you can forecast it. So that's the
work. This goes to the person.
That's right. And you'll recognize it in your partners too, more easily and more quickly. So you won't do the things that will trigger them, because you'll know that if you do or say that thing, it will just hook them. So that's the road of awareness. And
the second one?
It's basically the road of security, or the road of the skills of developing security. So you start to recognize what are the skills that you need to learn in order to remain grounded and secure in the face of all the things that life brings you. And that's also the road of self-care. You learn to care for yourself so that you're always at your maximum capacity to handle all the things that life throws at you, which is often not consensual. Things happen to you all the time. You have a flat tire, the bridge is closed, your partner says something, and you have to face that and let it roll over your back, as they say. But if you're insecure, you might take it personally. So the road of self-care is to bring your nervous system to a level where you can face anything and not be fazed by it. You still feel it, and it still matters to you what happens, but you don't get shaken so easily anymore.
This is fantastic. That totally makes sense that you call your amazing online festival Journey to Secure.
It's a journey.
Actually, you choose these two paths of awareness and security together in order to get to your ideal preparation to be a great partner in relationships. Let's talk a bit more about the festival. So I heard there's like 5 days, over 30 amazing speakers.
That's right.
So tell us more about it. Like, what will we gain from getting there and spending the time on Zoom with our maybe loved ones and learn that? So,
well, it is 5 days. We have 34 sessions at the moment, 20 presenters. And here's the thing. We're all diverse human beings, and we all need different things. So some people will want more self-regulation. Some people will want self-care. Some people will be drawn to sense-making. They will want to understand what's happening. And so what we're offering is just a diversity of offerings from different teachers who are bringing different pieces to the table. Some teachers will bring more about nervous system regulation. Some people will bring more, including myself, will bring more about sense making. What's actually happening? What's the map? What's the territory? And where do you find yourself in it? And some people will bring more arts into the mix, and some people will bring more will bring more theater into the mix, and some people will bring more couples work. Derek Hart is one of our presenters. He'll bring couples work. He'll actually work with a couple. So if you show up, you can actually get a free coaching session from Derek if you show up for his class. And that's
fantastic. This is such a high value offering. Oh my God. So how do we find where to register? Is there any better pricing there? Until when? So if we hurry up, what do we get and where?
So currently, if you go to journeytosecure.com, you can register. We still have some space for the festival, but it's filling up, and we have an early bird pricing until January 20th. So I would say jump on it right now. And if you want a discount, we have a small discount for those who want to join in today. So the discount is what's that?
How many percent do you reduce your tickets for today's bookings?
It's going to be $20 discount. And so what you'll want to do is you'll want to go and you'll want to say you'll want to type in the discount code Spotlight, and when you type that in, it will give you a $20 discount for the Journey to Secure, which is happening on January 25th to 29th.
This is great. Thank you so much. I'm so excited that you guys created this fantastic seminar. And I think it's really for everyone who wants to get into relationships, B, it is for everyone who is in a relationship, and especially for those who are married. Guys, this is your golden nugget to really transform your relationship.
Well, especially if you want to keep your relationship, if your relationship is really worthwhile for you and you want to stay in it, and you're finding yourself in these coping mechanisms, like really you owe it to yourself and to your partner, to your relationship, to do the work to recognize these coping mechanisms so that you can stop getting hooked with each other. You might be somebody who's anxious and your partner's avoidant, or you might be disorganized and your partner's avoidant or also disorganized or anxious. These attachment styles are not compatible with each other. So to make them more compatible, of course, you become more secure. But you also, in order to do that, you have to do your inner work. And this also allows you to do it with your partner.
That is so important, especially for people who are in polyamorous relationships.
Mhm.
There is so much gold in this online festival, because you would really learn how to manage your polyamorous relationships so much better.
That's right. Oh yeah. Yeah. So many relationships to deal with. And there's always going to be at least one or more people who are insecure as part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because as you have more people in the space, then all the insecurities coming up.
Mhm.
Right.
Exactly. Oh. Absolutely. I mean, with the chance of potentially losing a partner to another partner, it's even more likely to happen. Like if you're the kind of person who gets jealous, and whether you're in a monogamous relationship or polyamorous relationship, it's going to happen. Your partner is going to be talking to somebody else, and you'll think, they're going to leave me. And there's a primal response to that. And that primal response is a dysregulation. And if you can regulate yourself and really and access the upper parts of your brain that says there's no evidence, he's just talking to somebody. This is difficult. So you need the right tools.
Difficult. Relationships are difficult. This is why you do this great work, collect so many great speakers in California to these topics. So tell me more, how would I know which workshops is the best for me for my personal case?
Well, my recommendation is you check out the different presenters. We're rolling out videos for each of the presenters, interviews, so you get a chance of how does this presenter feel. And we also have all their information, the information about their classes. You can also just contact me and just let me know that you have questions, or this is your particular situation and you'd like to know.
You're so available for your audience to come. Like, you share just so much love with your people. My last question for this interview, let us know, how can we love better?
Well, that's a good question, because love, for a lot of people, love is something that feels like falling in love, like a slipping, like a losing control. And unfortunately, for many people, that kind of loss of control comes from insecurity. It comes from, I can't help but want to lose myself into somebody. I can't help but find the perfect person. Like there's a compulsion there. And the way you can love better is to come from a grounded place, not a place of losing control, but from a place of, I love, and to be able to abide in that. Like there's so much around in spirituality about abiding. And abiding in love automatically has you be more attractive and more attracting of other people who are also abiding in love and want to do it together. And that kind of togetherness and that sort of mutuality and that sort of and that sort of team effort, to me, leads to better loving.
Wow. I am so excited for everyone to join your journey to secure. We had today with us Philippe Lewis. Thank you so much for this great interview and for all your insights. So guys, if you really want to join this Golden Nugget Festival, 5 days, 34 workshops, we have Spotlight discount of $20 if you book it today. I really hope that this interview is going to come out fast so that people can get your discount. And by the way, it's just $149
47
for 5 days. 5 days. How much is it per day? Relationship education?
No, it's not much. And it's really not about the money. I mean, it's less than the price of a coaching session or a therapy session. And the piece too is we're going to record it. And then we're going to remind you, here's a class that maybe you missed. And so in the weeks following the immersion, we'll just we'll say, hey, by the way, maybe you missed this session and this might be the right moment for you to watch it. And you can watch it.
So much luxury and care for your audience. I'm so excited for everyone. This is so much love you share, my dear.
Well, the beauty of doing this for the first time is it's going to be smaller and intimate. And it's not the same as if you have thousands of people on an online immersion. It's going to be a small enough group that I can care for every single person one by one.
We don't know. There would be you. There would be amazing people, And
Will
you
be
guys
amazing,
do
people.
fantastic work of bringing this incredibly important relationship work to the people. Thank you so much for being here and doing this great work. We connect soon. And that was Irina Bosarina, the Juicy Life Coach, and Philippe Lewis, Journey to Secure. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So
Keep
much.
loving, keep shining. Bye-bye.